Hey, chat, how you guys doing? Helps if I actually put us on the screen. I mean, that's kind of the critical thing there. All right. So, welcome everybody. Welcome everybody. We've got a lot going on here. Yes, the myopia of ceiling cats. Yes, yes. I remember, like I said, I remember when I got the word of day calendars. When I got the word of day calendars. The mumbler says whether gray or green, it matters little as long as you aren't blue. That's very true. Very true. Have a myopic day. Oh, yes. Leighton and Shaughnessy use the word myopia in a sense. You don't understand the myopia of time. All right, guys. So let's go. Yes. Tasteful Thickness says, we are live 5 rounds in the YouTube Fighting Championship. All right, guys. So here we go. A lot's going on for Nick. He has filed a motion to suppress. Something I was surprised we hadn't seen yet. I mean, drop it at like 2. You're starting on Wednesday, and you drop it now. Like, you've had all this time, and this is the best they're going to do. I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little disappointed here. But let's get to the big things first. Let's get to the biggest thing first, guys. If you guys are new, my name is Sean Martin, also known as Potentially Criminal. I'm a practicing attorney in the Cleveland, Ohio area. Do a lot of criminal defense stuff here on this channel, but we talk about all kinds of legal stuff that happens. So just want to say hello if you guys are new and you don't know who I am. But yes, I are a real attorney, and that helps, just so you understand. All right, so let's get to this. What do we have? Wait, this isn't DSP? No, it's not. I'm sorry, it's not DSP. Nick will watch this at the seethe. I'm sure he will. Just like it's benzoylecgonine, Nick. Benzoylecgonine. And it's a metabolite from the body, not outside the body. It'd be really hard to something metabolize itself outside of a mitochondria process, because that's part of what assists in metabolization. Metabolic, all that. Just saying. Like I said, I'm not science man, but I know enough. I know just enough to be dangerous. Joshua says Nick is coping. Oh, he is the mayor of Copenhagen right now. The mayor of Copenhagen. Yes, and apparently, as we learned today on if you guys are interested, for those of you who aren't myopically poor, as long as you ain't a brokey, you can join Nick as his neighbor, and you could buy the second home. You could buy the Baldo bunker, one of the Baldo bunkers, because there's 2 of them. And if you guys aren't aware, you could buy the house for a princely sum of $450,000, which, as long as you don't have the myopia of poverty, as long as you aren't a poor person, Nick will be right here, and you could be right here, and you could be like, together forever. And you guys can be like, aw. You just be like, together forever. And just link up. And then you have to worry about the rest of these prudes. You can have your own little world away from all the prudes. If you wish to join them, you could do that. You could do that for $450,000. So could you ask to borrow sugar and actually get sugar? I don't know. Why is April selling her house? I don't know. If there's some holes in the cover or the cover, whatever it is. Now, one thing you have to wonder is, and I don't know about Minnesota's laws on selling homes, but is that house, likely there was drug use done in that home. So has that house been decontaminated? Were there disclosures like, oh yeah, we did a lot of coke here and we were smoking crack? Like, has that been disclosed? Just saying. Just saying, like, was any of that disclosed? Because that might be important. Although I will say I agree, people were saying 450 Gs, that's price to move. I mean, I don't know, maybe, the Mustang needs to do a paint job, maybe. Or, maybe you need to get ready to pay Monty off. I don't know. I'm getting ready to pay Monty off. Who knows? Who knows? The Joker painting is included. Yes, he would. Yeah, that'd be hilarious. Yes, that should be the house Noel buys, the house all the lol cows he adopts. Yeah, just put them all there. Just put all of the lol cows there. That'd be great. Monty could use that $300 Nick owes him. Well, yeah. So anyway, is April included? I don't know. I don't know, chat. Anyways, we're gonna get going. We're gonna get going. We've wasted enough time here. So there have been some updates, and this set of developments is something I'm actually very happy to see because I was getting worried. And some of you might say, "Wait, what are you getting worried about?" And I truly am worried here because can't trust Nick as far as you can throw him. And that was about what was happening to Kayla. As we are on the eve of everything, Kayla has gotten representation. Now, she had representation in her children's services case, but she finally got representation in a criminal case. And I was very worried because she was on her own here. I'm sure Nick said, "Don't worry about it, baby. We're going to take care of it." In the meantime, he's lawyered up, and I am glad Kayla got some sense, knocked into her skull. You need an attorney. Nick is not your friend right now. Nick is not your friend right now. April ain't your friend right now. So it's a certificate of representation. And her attorney is Maggie Kluver. This is the attorney who's been involved in the children's services side of it. Thank God she's got a representation because that was getting very, very worrisome to me. Getting very worrisome. In addition to that, filed yesterday, which some of you are saying, well, wait, how does that work? How do you file something yesterday with today's Monday? Well, that's the beauty of electronic filing. So you can file things over the weekend. So she was formally retained. She filed her own request for disclosures and discovery, which is good. Good stuff there. I'm not going to go through all this because this is pretty standard and boilerplate. But it's good. It's good that it's happened. And then finally, there was a motion to continue everything. And for Kayla, her omnibus hearing is being set for October 28th. And that's good. And that gives her time and her attorney time to figure out what's going on, what they're going to do. This came out today. Contested omnibus, 215, October 28th. Very, very good for Kayla. I'm very happy she's all set there. Now, what does it mean for Nick's case? Well, that's where we're going to get to what we're looking at right now. Because Nick filed today this absolute banger of a motion. And this is what he filed. He filed a motion to void the warrant, suppress evidence, and dismiss charges for lack of probable cause. Now, that's a whole lot of things in there, but it's okay. Makes sense. The way they do these omnibus hearings, that makes sense too. So, yeah, you're going to attack. They're attacking everything. And we already knew they were going to attack everything. It's just the problem is they filed this today. And it's Wednesdays when they have the hearing. So what's going to happen? I mean, what's going to happen? The prosecutor's going to say, I need time to respond. And rightly so. She has the right to respond. She isn't expected just to show up on Wednesday and take it to Nick She has the right to ask for time to respond. I mean, I'm surprised there aren't filing limits and filing timelines on this. Because, I mean, Nick's had his attorney for how long now? Nick's had this guy for months. And now they drop this like this? Like, I guess that's how you do it there, sure, but it's not impressive to me. It's not impressive. It's just not impressive to me. So, what's going to happen? I'm sure the prosecutor's going to ask for time to respond, so it's going to get continued. So, they'll come back later. Now, I have a feeling since Nick and Kayla are co-defendants, they'll probably try to keep things as close as they can together. So, Nick's probably looking at around Halloween. I would assume, but who really knows? Who really knows at this point? Who knows? Cave says, why do they do this last minute filing? Well, if you're allowed to do it, you can do it. There's nothing. If you are allowed to do it within the rules, there's nothing wrong with it. My big thing is, for having read this earlier, and homie took some notes on this, a couple pages of notes. This was not fucking impressive, and this is the best they can come up with after this long. It's like, yeah, I don't know. So, Lawler Scooty says, do you have any info on the recent steel toe drama? I don't know 100% what exactly. I thought he had his issues with the protection order, but if there's more to it, sure, maybe Aaron ran his fucking mouth. I mean, it was great for us, but as I remember telling him that night with Warski and PPP, have you spoke to an attorney? Because you really, really should. I expected Nick to be on time. Well, I expect his attorney to be on time. Your attorney should not be as an attorney, I shouldn't be mimicking my client's standards in regards to being on time or whatever. So it's not clever or a good motion. Well, we'll get to what I think there's some problems with it. I think there might be one thing they probably do win outright, and we'll get to that, but we need to start. Hank says, was Barnes involved in this filing? I don't believe so. It's funny. It's so funny. I will state I guess I'll say it now because they didn't bring it up. All the bullshit Barnes was hollering about he knew that there's case law that talks about, personal use is getting, and all that shit he was rambling on and on and on about. They don't fucking address none of that here. It's like, gee, it's like it was fucking completely wrong. Like me and Andrew approved. It was completely fucking wrong. Barnes is fucking taking 2 seconds to read a case, finds one sentence, and thought he saved the day. And it's like, homie. I mean, shit. I still have those fucking notes. Barnes is trying to quote these cases like State v. Harris, State v. Bork, State v. Walter. I mean, there's a bunch of shit Barnes was trying to. State v. Pseudo. There's all kinds of shit Barnes was trying to run. Just crashed and fucking. So, just. I mean, I guess one of us is right, Bobby. One of us is right. Yeah, always bet on Barnes. Yeah. Yeah, always bet on Barnes. I guess. Anyway, let's get back to what Nick and his attorney filed. Let's get back to this. And I need to move this back to a thing where I'm not getting blinded anymore. Perfect. Okay. So we have this, and it says, to the state of Minnesota and its prosecuting attorney. I'm assuming this is all normal shit you have to do in Minnesota. This is just weird. This whole thing, the way Minnesota does stuff, is weird to me. And the notice of motion, it says, please take notice. Yeah, like I said, some of this is just goofy as hell. In Ohio, now comes the defendant. We're coming to fuck your shit up. Whatever. Anyways, on August 21st at 10:30, before the judge of the Kaneohe County Courthouse, 505 Becker Avenue Southwest, Wilmar, Minnesota, 52601. For those of you farmers looking to go and taking notes. The defendant will ask the court to suppress all evidence collected and derived from the unlawful search and seizure of the defendant's home. Hold the warrant was not supported by probable cause. The defendant's arrest was unlawful, and to suppress any statements made by the defendant subsequent to his arrest. Any statements made by April Imholt, and we're going to get to why they're doing this. Subsequent to her Miranda invocation, so the invocation of Miranda rights, and consequently dismiss counts 1, 2, and 3, meaning everything. I don't know why you wouldn't just say dismiss the indictment or dismiss the counts in their entirety, but whatever. I will say, guys, from reading this was super disjointed. This was a very disjointed thing. Like, there's no, like, when you read through this, the headings, like, just using Microsoft Word, using your headings and bullet points. Roman numeral 1, A, then you go from, like, you hit tab in from there, and you have, like, Roman numeral 1, blah, 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 blah. And then part A, part B, part C, and then you might have, like, part C, but then C's got, like, part 1, and then part 2, and part 3. Like, this is not fucking organized. This shit, like, this is not organized at all. I'm not saying that's the end-all, be-all, but Jesus Christ. Fucking have some organization in your shit, dude. I'm not asking for a lot. I will give him credit. I will give White credit, though. Look at that, chat. Look at that beautiful stuff right there. Look at that. That is just, it's so sexy. You get points for that. You get points for that with me. Guys, I don't know what I got muted for. Sorry. You can't hear me? We're back now. We're back. That was weird. All right. Anyways, justified margins, I'll give him credit for. But this is just a fucking mess, chat. It's all a mess. And I don't get it. Did Nick write this? Maybe. If he did, remember, guys, this is our boy at his best. 2.0 yelled at me, guys. That's why I heard. Oh, get on with the substance, Sam. This is part of the substance. This is how you know when something's done properly by a professional. Does it look right? Is it organized? Like, these are some of the things. Like, when I get a motion from another party, if it looks like fucking shit, I'm assuming they don't know what the fuck they're doing. And I can use that. All right. Anyway, we're challenging stuff here. Also, the alignment stuff is my autism. And I will also say this guy uses a lot of footnotes, and I love that. If that's Nick using footnotes, I guess, Nick, then fine. You're doing something I appreciate for once. But yes, footnotes are the best. So they talked about the defendant asked the court, pursuant to the 4th Amendment of the U.S. Constitution, in Article 1, Section 10 of the Minnesota Constitution, and there's nothing wrong with citing both. That's how they want to do it. To suppress all evidence resulting from the search and seizure on May 23rd. Unreasonable searches and seizures are prohibited under both constitutions. And they cite the touchstone of this analysis under the 4th Amendment is always the reasonableness in all circumstances of the governmental invasion of a person's security and privacy. And they cite, quoting Pennsylvania v. Mims, which it works. I don't have a problem with it. Okay. Now, this part here, this just comes out of nowhere. When a defendant seeks to invalidate a warrant, well, there's multiple ways you can invalidate a warrant. There's multiple ways. But they talk about the Franks test, and the Franks test is from a case called Franks v. Delaware. And in Franks v. Delaware, yes, this happened. There was a deliberate statement that was made in false or reckless disregard of the truth. And that statement is material to the probable cause determination. But we jump straight into citing a case and a test. And once again, this is so disjointed. There's no introduction saying you should dismiss it because they used bullshit and they lied. There's none of that. You don't have any of that here. This is shittily done. I understand where they're going, and even as I was reading, and I'm like, okay, they'll catch up later. But you should be able to read this and figure out what the fuck is going on as you're going through it. It should be very clear what you're talking about, how you're deducing things. This is just... I mean, Iraq is important here, but just basic function of introduction, lay the scene. I mean, if Nick wrote this and he's a creative writing person, like, fucking do your creative writing. Tell a story. Make it organized. And they talk about a concerned citizen is presumed to be reliable. Yes, but we don't have concerned citizens. We'll get to this, guys. A concerned citizen is presumed to be reliable. But you can show that it's rebutted. What is their motivation? And a factual background must be provided so the judicial officer can make a determination about the motivation. The collective knowledge doctrine also applies. You know, they skip over what that is because, well, you have to hope that judge knows about it. No, when you don't know what that is, like, you put it in there. The collective knowledge doctrine, you put it all down. I don't know why you would just chug along. You would like to think they know, but you always presume your audience doesn't know. But the collective knowledge doctrine is when the officers work together here. And I have the sorry, that's the wrong case here, guys. Anyways, they can all work together and they can rely on the knowledge from each other. Yeah, sad clowns is almost like it was done by a drug-addled mind, I guess. And then they just go into it. Just going further. If the warrant's void, the search must be excluded. I mean, what? This is just so fucking jammed up. You just jam fucking everything into here, and I don't know why you would do that. I don't know why you would just start shoving garbage in here. Like, paragraphs are your friend. Organize it better. They talk about here in this case called McGrath, an officer categorizes informant as a concerned citizen, but it was his CI. Well, that's a lie. You're not allowed to do that. Okay. It appears the applicant relied not on an informant in the traditional sense, but on the public exhortations of a self-described concerned citizen, namely Aaron Imholt. We'll get to why this... No, he didn't, and it's not really works that way. They do cite a bunch of cases. And we go here. In this case, it regrettably appears the applicant knowingly and willingly misled the court in his application for a warrant. Okay. Are we still in the introduction here? Because we went from babbling about Aaron to we're bouncing around, man. Once again, where are we at here? In the warrant, the applicant informed the court that he was able to review the video taken off the defendant's YouTube and Rumble social media sites. The video is from 5/21/24 and is Nicholas at his basement studio talking about a court appeals ruling he lost. What the appellant failed to disclose to the court was that the video he was watching must have been altered from the original. We're going to get to why they don't actually tell us how it was altered, but once again, that's another swing and a miss. Given his self-proclaimed extensive amount of experience, the applicant should have stated the video bears indices of alteration that are readily evident to any layperson. Even more so to a self-described expert who professed to have watched defendant's videos over an extended period. Oh my God, hold on here. I just saw this. Garrett, you're right. This is an allegory for American Beauty. Mhm. That's why I don't know, yeah. I mean, if Nick yes, a myopia of Copenhagen. Now, if Nick really did type this, guys, do you think he sat there and typed it and then sat there and sparked up the biggest, fattest crack rock he had and went like, "This is a banger, chat," and just I forgot he's got his patch on. So his patch detects drugs, probably not alcohol, so I'm sure he slammed a couple of shots back. Screamed at John and the ceiling cats. They then point out, should the court rule in the defendant's favor on this issue, the defendant requests that this be expressly entered against the applicant as adverse integrity information. This means Detective Pomplin under Giglio. And Giglio it's not Gigolo, it's Giglio, not Juggalo, Giglio. Giglio v. United States v. Giglio and Brady v. Maryland. Courts and states have set up what are called Brady list and Giglio list. So officers who lie get put on what's called a Brady list, meaning they have a demonstrated past of lying and hiding things before the courts. And they want this as it is a direct purpose of impeaching the applicant's credibility and adversely impacting the warrant issued. Okay. And then the statement of reasons. Once again, we're not, fucking section 2. Come on. Like section 2, something. Like, God, organize this shit, man. Organize. So the applicant offers an initial basis for the issuance of the search warrant. A report received on May 16th. And he asked for the initial basis for the issuance of the search warrant. Alleging possible child neglect controlled substance use. I don't know about that, Nick. I don't know about that. We'll get to it. We'll get to it, though. Applicant failed to disclose to the judicial office the existence of a letter dated May 20th. This letter was sent to the Kaneohe County Sheriff's Department from Children's Services and authored by Alicia Sweep. I mean, if she was backing you up, Nick, why are you so mad at her now? In this letter, Sweep informed the Sheriff's Department 2 days prior that the May 16th report doesn't fit the definition of child abuse or neglect as defined in Minnesota statutes reporting a maltreatment. Okay. Cool. But let's go back to the warrant here. I mean, the biggest thing is, what are we looking for? What's the primary purpose of the warrant here, chat? And this is, and Nick, if you're watching out there, écoutez, écoutez les enfants. What are the things they were looking for? Controlled substances. I don't see child neglect. The crime that they're suspected of isn't child neglect. So what? Remember, this is the thing here, guys. Neglect wasn't being investigated. It was the drugs that were being investigated. They already asked CPS, hey, is this enough for you? And Alicia Sweep had to say, no, this alone is not enough for us to get involved. Okay, cool. But for Detective Pomplin, that little piece plugged into what he's working on, well, that's a big chunk of it. That's a nice little piece of the Jenga tower. Now he's built up a wall. All those bricks help him build a wall. On their own, they're just a brick. But when you take those bricks and put them all together, now you have a wall. You can make the wall 10 feet taller. But they were part of the showing for drug possession. Remember, this is where he goes through everything and he talks about people who start doing drugs generally neglect their kids. That's not uncommon. They talk about it. Like, it was reported the kids come in disarray. Their home is cluttered. We hear all this stuff. You hear the stuff from Aaron saying that the home's a fucking mess. The kids are complaining of being hungry, not being fed, wearing the same clothes 3 to 4 days at a time would start to smell. Nick shows up fucking high as fuck. Nick would just disappear during sermons and have behavioral changes. Nick and Kayla look like they're fucking skeletons. Nick having track marks, and they weren't track marks. Okay, Nick, they were marks. I'm sorry, picking at your meth bumps or whatever you want to call it. The reporter, his pastor, had concerns of neglect and controlled substance use within the home. Yeah, and this is the shit that happens when people start fucking falling apart. And they report that, that the drug use has destroyed the home. And let's be real, guys, what happens in these homes? It's never like a Better Homes and Gardens. Oh, and they're just doing coke off to the side. No, the crack houses aren't looking good. When they find kids in trap houses, it's never looking good. It always looks bad. The kids are hungry. They don't have clothes. So, yes, this was part of the probable cause, but they weren't asking to find child neglect. They were saying that's one common piece based on our experience of dealing with drug users and people possessing drugs. So this is not going to get them where Nick, you aren't going to get where you think you're going, honey. This ain't going to help you. I don't care if it's a fucking heat allergy or what. It's not going to help you, buddy. The applicant's failure to inform the judicial officer's letter prevented the officer from making the authorized intrusion upon the home and repose. Really? Oh, Nick just learned. We're going to start seeing this word probably in the next day or two, repose. We're going to start seeing the shit out of that. The failure to inform the prior determination is material, as the initial predicate for seeking the warrant had already been deemed insufficient by the very county agency charged with protecting children. The initial predicate. I mean, remember, there was the initial predicate, right? Okay, cool. And then what do we see? Nick falling apart. And then they see Nick himself with fucking coke all over his nose and acting like he's doing coke. So, guys, remember, it started out with that, hey, here's a complaint. We have concerns. And then the police start looking into it, and they're like, oh, no. Oh, no. Oh, no, 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 no. This is bad. That's how that went, Nick. That's how this went. They got a report, and then they started investigating. And then they used openly available things to fuck you. Come on now. Come on. This ain't working that way. And Doria says, since when does CPS sign warrants? Protectors, Children's Services can get a warrant from time to time. And they have. That's actually not an abnormal thing. Well, I'm sorry, that is an abnormal thing. Normally, when they think they're going to get involved, the ears are going with the police. But Children's Services could go get a warrant. They could swear one out. Administrative agencies and administrative functions can get warrants from time to time, like OSHA. OSHA inspectors can go get warrants. EPA people can get warrants. It's harder for them to do that, and it's harder for administrative bodies to do it. But yeah, warrants can be obtained by other governmental entities. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. It's not impossible. Is Nick going to use a Sonichu defense? I don't know. I don't know what he's going to do. The applicant asserted that the defendant, M. Holt, I always want to say Holte from listening to Keynote too much, may have had a recent falling out. This is an intentional misrepresentation by the applicant. In the May 22nd video blog by M. Holte, God, I can't do it. M. Holt makes it clear the relationship with the defendant had degraded far beyond a mere falling out. I mean, I'm sure he could say, like, how do I know? Like, how bad is it? How fucking bad do they hate each other? What's going on? I mean, even then, though, this is still a problem for Nick, this doesn't help him like I think he thinks it does. Remember, they're arguing this was a concerned citizen, that Aaron's a concerned citizen. Remember, when we go back to the search warrant, though, the concerned citizen is not Aaron. The concerned citizen is the pastor. The pastor is the concerned citizen, guys. I mean, here's the deal. Nick's pastor is the concerned citizen. That guy's the one who came to the cops. Aaron's some fucking retard out on the internet screaming and hollering about shit. He's not a concerned citizen. Aaron didn't go to the cops. That's not all, what's going on there. So I don't understand how they can claim that Aaron is the I don't understand how they think that can help him here. Also, Aaron, speaking of you, yes, and this is for you, Aaron. If you guys are wondering where you need to go, if you're looking for a place to go in Rockville, Minnesota, you can always go to Stoney's Bar and Grill. Stoney's Bar is celebrating 30 years. You could join them. They have a big weekend coming up. First, they have happy hour 4 to 7, $2 cans, and beers from 4 to 6. This Saturday, Stoney's having, once again, a poker run, benefiting someone locally in the area. And the Rockville Area Sportsman Club is celebrating their 50th anniversary. And that is going on this weekend over at Stoney's in Rockville, Minnesota, 1580 East Broadway Street, Rockville, Minnesota. There you go, Aaron. That's for you. Use it. Oh, there we go. Anyways, getting back to what we're dealing with here. The pastor was the reporting party and the concerned citizen. Aaron wasn't a concerned citizen. Aaron is an information source the police are just hoovering up. Because remember, Aaron didn't go to the pastor. The pastor just knows about Aaron. So he talked about him. And then they're like, oh, Aaron Imholt. Okay, I've heard about him. Steel toe guy. So they start Googling it and they see him going fucking crazy. Aaron's not a concerned citizen. He's not the source of your information. He's like a secondary source you learned about. And sure, you can challenge his bias. You can challenge all of that. Here's the problem, though, Nick. His information appears to have been vetted, and not even vetted, but his information's corroborated. People at the church said the house is the kids are a fucking mess. Aaron says they're a fucking mess. Aaron talks about doing coke. The people at church talk about them acting like they're on drugs. And then they watch your video of you being on drugs. Yes, so Aaron might not be credible and may have bias issues, but his information was corroborated independently. So I don't understand why you think going after Aaron helps you here. This is not where you're going to win. This is not where you're going to make your hay, man. Not where you're going to make your hay. Nick won't be reviewing the stream. I'm sure he won't. I'm sure he won't. He can file a motion to hide from this one too. But yes, as they talk about it, Nick told me when I said I would not be hanging out with them anymore. The text I got was something about a flabby, misshapen, doughy piece of shit I am, and the world would be a better place if I killed myself. Which is always fucking hilarious, Nick doing that, looking like a fucking scarecrow. Yeah. Imholt states then later on he communicated to Nick, okay, addict. And then Imholt blocked the defendant's number. That they claim that the applicant admitted from his affidavit that Imholt had made several threats ranging from thinly veiled to full-throated against the defendant. And God, yes, these threats were gay. These threats were gay. Yes, Nick Sweetie, baby, first of all, get help. Second of all, you better hope, and I said this last night, you better pray to God I don't say what I want. If I said what I want, motherfucker, that's Mount Vesuvius. Let's make a quick rule for Nicky Boy here. You keep my name out your fucking mouth in ways like that, and I can promise you I'll be a good boy as I can be. Imholt then proceeded to compare himself to Lefty Rosenthal, popularly energized as Ace Rothstein in the film Casino, and stated, you want to keep a guy like that happy, right? because he can blow up your shit, right? Yeah, because he knows all kinds of shit. Like, Nick, are you really claiming, like, oh my God, he was going to blow up the Baldo? No, Nick, he was going to fucking drop a dime on you, possibly, but he didn't. Imholt made a comparison of similar threats multiple points throughout the video. Oh, make the document full screen, guys. Sorry. I thought I did. No, my bad. The applicant misrepresented both the extent of the falling out between Imholt and Nick and Imholt's personal animus, bringing his statements outside the realm of those of a concerned citizen. He's not a concerned citizen, though. Aaron Imholt didn't come to the police. They haven't established how does Aaron count as a concerned citizen here? What's your definition of a concerned citizen? How do you establish he is one? This is, guys, when you're doing legal writing, you have to establish that. You have to put this world together so people can figure out what the fuck you're talking about. What ways? What evaluation metrics? How is Aaron Imholt a concerned citizen in this situation, Nick? Like I'm trying to take notes. I took notes. I tried to keep up. I didn't find you talking about that. You know, this is, once again, this is so fucking hard to keep up with. It is not organized. This is fucking garbage. Nick, if you wrote this, fucking A, man. But if you paid your guy to write this, holy shit, you need your money back. This is fucking awful. I mean, this is just garbage. I mean, we take classes in law school on how to fucking write. And even then, basic, like, how would you organize something by subject? Like, let's piece this together. No, and I mean, now we move on to Nick's video and the clips. Like, this should be an entire separate, like, heading. Aaron should be a separate heading. But this is just fucking garbage. This is fucking garbage. You guys are saying he's non-practicing. You know what? Yeah. I think random people, like normal people, well, I guess, yes, people who fucking fry their brain on cocaine and, you know, give them, like, turn themselves into, you know, juice brains from sucking down alcohol all the time, can organize shit, organize coherent thoughts in a way that makes sense. I mean, this is just fucking, it's a mess. It's a mess. So, yeah, well, anyways, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Yes, it's a non-practicing frontal cortex. Yes, myopic writing. Yes, myopic writing, yes. Yes, that's what we'll do there. He has a non-practicing frontal cortex. Yes. All right, so now we get to the video itself. The applicant stated on 5/22, Imholt did a video blog where he talked about Nick and insinuated controlled substance use, and also referenced a video blog that Nicholas put online on 5/21, and had since been taken off the internet. Remember that part, chat right here. Remember that part. Remember that part. Remember that part. Remember it. Just take and go, boop, put a pin in it. Or, you know, get some Coke and, like, lick it and kind of make, like, a Coke paste and, like, stick that note to the wall. Stick that note to the wall. Yes, taken off the internet. We'll get to that, guys. Don't worry. Don't worry. Aaron Imholt clearly states at 55 minutes and 26 seconds into his thing, so this woman who clips a bunch of shit from my show, from Nick's show, DM'd me this. Shout out to Alyssa Clips. You know, there you go, Alyssa. You made it to the big time. It was Nick telling a disjointed drunken story on his stream. Here's the clip that got me riled up. The accompanying clip that Imholt plays in the blog is 1 minute and 11 seconds long. The applicant states that defendant's video blog is 4 hours and 4 minutes long. Okay. Applicant therefore knew the video presented by Imholt in his video blog is an altered rendition of Nixon cannot be authenticated. Okay. Okay. Nick, honey, Bubby. Whatever else you want me to address you by. Sugar buns. So, yes, and we're gonna get this here. This is from the search warrant application again. And what does Detective Pomplin say? Detective Pomplin says he did a video blog where he talked about Nick and insinuated controlled substance use, and also referenced a video blog Nick put online that had since been taken off the internet. Nick indicates in his video, or Aaron indicates in his video, that Nick needs help. And Aaron points out a time in the video where Nick has a white powdery substance on his nose. Okay, cool. He mentions that. He points out a time. What did the detective do right here, Nick? What did he do right away? Your affiant was able to review the video that was taken off Nick's YouTube and Rumble channel and social media sites. The video is from May 21st and is of Nick in his basement talking about the appeals ruling he lost. He appears to be drinking alcoholic beverages and eventually appears to be under the influence of a substance or substances. The entire video is 4 hours and 4 minutes long. Holy shit, guys. It's almost like, and Nick, I know you're busy reading all these fucking papers about cocaine. I get that. I mean, part of my concern is, were you reading abstracts, and do you know what an abstract is? But another problem for another day, my boy. You know, anybody reading this can understand what the detective did. He goes, Aaron points that out. Where can I find that? I found the whole video. So he took information and found more information. That's how you investigate. Somebody tells you something, you go, and now I can find it. How does that work? He did police work. As much as I think the police are cocksuckers, Detective Pomplin did fucking police work, Nick. That's how this goes. He gets information and goes, where can I find that? Bam, I found that right here. Like, what's the problem? Why are we coping? Once again, this is just like the other thing. You're coping and crying over this shit that doesn't matter, Nick. Fuck, dude, you are spinning your wheels when you don't need to. I mean, really, like, I'm just... It doesn't fucking help you. This bitching about the fucking video. He failed to inform the unreliable nature of the edited video clip because he didn't base it off anything. He went and found where it came from. And how is it edited? Is it just edited for time? You don't tell us. You know what clip he's talking about, Nick. Is it edited for time? Or is it like when Sargon did the Aquila video, I Thought She Would Win, where it's like clipping together statements and running them out of order to tell a different story? Is it like Homer Simpson when he's doing the hard copy thing where it's like you can see the clock going back and forth in the background? You don't tell us how it's been fucked with. What was wrong with it? What would have given Detective Pomplin an indication to know that the provenance of that video, and once again, I'm sure Nick's going to belt that out again, provenance, it's like, and the unreliable nature of the clip. What there would give that person a reason to believe it's not reliable? You're going to have to elucidate that, Nick. Where you don't tell us. You don't tell us why it's not. Like, that's all I'm asking for you. Like, I don't fucking get it. I don't fucking get it. You're like, this is unproven. This is unreliable. How? Well, it's unreliable. How? Nick, elucidate. This is another free word. The myopia of elucidating. I don't know. Run it together. You're a creative writing guy. Hammer it in there. Why is this unreliable? You have to explain that. Right now, you haven't. This is fucking gibberish. It's shorter. Okay, it's 1 minute long, but does what it show purport to be correct and true? No. Okay, well then tell me what's wrong with it. I mean, here's the thing, Nick. And you're gonna be like, I'm sure you're gonna wonder about people sucking the state's dick or tucking their nuts up into their assholes or whatever other shit talking thing you can do. Give me something. Because this is not an argument. I wouldn't make these arguments, homie. I would state what the problem is. If I'm having a suppression issue or an authentication issue, I just had one of those this past week. They tried off the opposing party tried to offer shit. They couldn't authenticate. Nothing was right. But I explained why. You don't just go, it's fucked, and then walk away. That's not how it works, dude. This is just, the applicant then, well, we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going. We're going to keep going, chat. We're going to keep going here. The applicant misrepresented. The applicant misrepresented that he had been able to review the video that was taken off of Nick's YouTube channel and Rumble social media sites. What we're getting, guys, we're gonna put a pin in that one too. We're gonna put a pin in that one too. Applicant stated the video was taken off the social media sites. This is a misrepresentation as those videos were placed in a private status on each platform on 5/21. Yes. The applicant said the video was taken off. Well, see, it's like, I didn't delete him. I just hid him from everybody. Ha! Booyah! I'm so fucking smart. You're so dumb, Mr. Policeman. I just hid the evidence of me committing a crime. Ha! Baldo for victory! Woo! I mean, thank you for admitting you hid the evidence, Nick, because that's going to be another problem here. When you're complaining about how this guy had to go look at other videos. Like, the best evidence is in your position and you hit it. You don't get to run around and then scream that he's not using the best evidence and it's not reliable. Guess what, Nick? Guess who's got it? You just admitted to having it, you fucking retard. Why would you admit to having evidence? Why would you admit to hiding it? Why? There's a good chance here in Ohio you get charged with evidence tampering because of that statement. I don't think so based on the way Minnesota has it. But here in Ohio, you can get charged with evidence tampering. Fucking bravo. Fucking bravo. Really? Because guess what? Well, you're like, well, actually, you don't have the right video. I've got it hidden over here. That's not a win, Nick. That's not a win. Okay? That's not a win. I mean, that's not even a self-felt. He literally self-gaped himself. He goatsied himself. And inside out at himself, basically. So, okay, then they want a warrant. I mean, they could search, and here's the thing. They point out that if a user attempts to access a video, they're informed it's private. The user must have special permission to access it. Okay, in order for the applicant to have been able to review the original video on YouTube, he would have had to serve a warrant on Alphabet Incorporated, the parent company of YouTube. That warrant has not been produced to discovery and is a potential Brady violation. Okay, I mean, if you really want to fuck with the prosecutor, she could probably serve a warrant on you and your phone and demand you open up YouTube. I mean, she could probably do that. So I'm sure you have YouTube. I mean, I know I've got YouTube Studio on my phone. And guess what I can do with that? I guess, you know what I can do on my phone here? Hold on, chat. YouTube Studio. Guess what I can do? With YouTube Studio, I can go on here and I can make videos public or private. I don't know if that's what you were like hoping to do here, buddy, but like, you know, go run around screaming, "Ah, you dumb fucks! I got the evidence!" Like, why would you do that, Nick? I just don't see the point in that. So is it a Brady violation? Maybe, but now they get to the more than likely using my Reddit developed senses of perception. That's the way I read that. More likely. More likely. The appellant's assertion he was able to review the video did not necessitate serving a warrant because the appellant reviewed an edited version titled Nick Rekieta's Drunk Stream after losing his appeal. How was it edited? Once again, how was it edited, Nick? In discovery, the state produced a PowerPoint presentation what purports to be a clip of the defendant's live, as well as an image pertaining to be a screenshot of the same. Not only is this video entitled differently, but it came from a different YouTube channel, Backwards Internet. It was uploaded at a different date and time from the defendant's original. It also contains a watermark not present in the original video. The watermark is open and notorious in the lower right-hand corner of the video and appears to mimic the branding of the edited video's host channel. Applicant did not review the defendant's original video. He never said he did. This was a misrepresentation of material fact to the judicial officer. I mean, if you wanted him to say, it looks like, you know, you deleted everything. I mean, is that what you really want? Is that what you really want him to say? I tried looking, but, you know, he says he watched it. Now, is he going to get in trouble for not being clear? I don't know. Maybe you're going to, but remember, Nick's attorney's going to go in there and say, "You didn't watch the original. Why didn't you, detective?" Aha, I knew it. Prosecutor gets up there and says, "Why couldn't you watch the original?" Because he fucking deleted it. And he hid it from us. Guess what the judge is going to think there, chat? The judge is going to go, It's also not necessary. You know, they provided you with that evidence here. He doesn't have to see the original yet. It just doesn't work that way. It's a misrepresentation of a material fact. Is it an intentional misrepresentation? I mean, you know, what type of misrepresentation is this? I don't think this gets you where you think it can go. Nick, come on, man. You know, it's, you know, was it knowingly and intentionally false? Was it false, or was it a mistake? Did he accidentally misspeak? We don't really know. Now, somebody's saying, why wouldn't the copy be just as good ultimately? Because ultimately Nick could say, well, yeah, it's not the original. The problem is Nick's holding on to the original. Okay, fine, let's compare them. Show us where it's not right. Point out the clip. Point out the thing that's not right, Nick. Show us what's not right. You can't just go, oh, it's not the original and therefore it's not good. You've hid the original. You've destroyed it. The original you're refusing to turn over. So the original doesn't exist anymore. So what's the next best thing? We got to rely on what we have. So, anyways, they go on. For the reasons pursuant to Franks, the court must find that the search warrant devoid of any reliability, lacked the necessary probable cause, and is therefore void. Well, that's a this is just, once again, shitty things. When you're trying to summarize, spell out what part of Franks wasn't met. What parts were intentionally misleading and or reckless? Like, you should be able to lay some shit out here. You should be able to lay some shit out, but you can't. Once again, Nick, if you wrote this, homie, don't fucking help your attorney. Just fucking spend the money. And if Nick's attorney wrote this, Jesus Christ, man, fucking brevity is you're write it out. Jesus Christ. Once again, firearm seizure is unlawful. Nick is saying, can he delay if this is vague? Well, no, because the court might say, fuck this shit and ignore it. Oh. This is just... Yeah, Sneed after Coke is saying, Nick is taking this to trial and will be screaming objection pixels like the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. Oh, Nick is going to get up there when he opens a statement and be like, it's the Kiwi farmers! They're all pedophiles! No! Thank you. And he'll sit down and go, I showed them. All right, the firearm seizure was unlawful. Even if the court finds the unsupported and contradictory statements by the applicant, unsupported and contradictory, like, wow, okay. Sufficient to form probable cause, meaning that's their way of saying, Judge, if you're that fucking stupid, brilliant way to win the argument there. The seizure of the alleged firearms is independently unlawful. No, it's not. No, it's not. We're gonna go through all this here. Nick was charged with a crime. And that crime is possessing ammunition or firearms and controlled substances together. That's a crime. And guess what the police were doing? They were searching the house for drugs. And they were searching the house for drugs. They found guns. And guess what? They're allowed to take those guns. This is now contraband in proof of a crime. That's how this shit works. If the police are searching for a gun in your house, they suspect you committed a murder, and they're looking for a gun somewhere in your house, specific gun. And they open up your drawer, and they find a whole jar of cocaine. Guess what? As long as it was reasonable for them to look in that drawer for that gun, they're taking that cocaine, and they're charging you with it. So no, this is all fucking Copenhagen. Sure. Yeah, the Second Amendment. I want everybody to have grenade launchers in their house too. We're not at that point. You've got to deal with the reality as it is. This is not going to win. This is wasted pages. This is wasted paper. To argue this is some sort of general warrant or some unlawful thing here. No. Bunch of garbage. Now, this, I will say, should they have gone ahead and secured another warrant? Maybe they could have. But they didn't have to. And on some low kind of 2-bit drug raid, some dumb shit like Nick, I wouldn't have told them to do it either. Now, if this was like solving a murder or something big went down, I would tell them to keep getting warrants. But in reality, at the end of the day, no, this didn't require another warrant. If the police are searching and they find new things, and it's reasonable for them to find them, guess what? They get to keep it. And the idea of like any drug raid ever, the cops have like, and also I will point out this case they keep citing Sexter, was about a fucking dish towel, not about a gun. Like, there's never been a time where the cops have like found fucking guns and they found drugs and they found guns. And like, oh, well, we can't take our warrant says drugs only. I guess we leave the guns here. Hey, Mr. Mr. Crip and Mr. Blood, here you go. I guess you have your guns back. Toodles. No, it doesn't happen that way. It doesn't fucking happen that way. It's cope. It's cope. Golden Mongoose says it was just medicinal cocaine. No. Was not at all. It was decorative cocaine. Because Nick keeps arguing, well, I didn't use it. How do you know I was using it? It was just sitting there. Okay. So it's like, it's just meant to be decorative. It's meant to be like a conversation piece. I think that's what Nick's trying to get at. So Young Black Economist says, lol, gun owners. Well, I mean, here's the thing, though. I mean, like, I got a fucking rocket launcher. So, no, I have no problem with the Second Amendment. In fact, I think we should have a broader Second Amendment than we have currently. I still think you should be able to go to vending machines and get grenade launchers out of them. Like, you should be able to go up to one and like, oh, I want an M320. Boop. I want an M203. Boop. I want an M79. Boop. So, just saying. Aaron says, I also have decorative crack. It's the end thing now. Oh. The ruffians break into my house meme, yes. Yes, and Johan saying, like the stream chatter, you're a Boldo wearing cuck. Yes. Wendy says, can't you legally own a flamethrower because it's considered farming equipment? Well, it's not that. It's just most states don't have a law against it or regulate the use of a flamethrower because most of them probably never thought about it. I'm pretty sure in California they're illegal now, but it's not even farming equipment. It's an unregulated item. So therefore, that which isn't prohibited is therefore allowed. So, and most of the time, I think they realize most people fucking around with flamethrowers are probably going to kill themselves or someone. Like, they're not going to go out and go on a flamethrower spree. You're going to fuck around at your house and kill yourself. It's kind of like tannerite. Nobody's using tannerite to make bombs. They're just blowing stuff up and, peppering themselves with fragments. Or the guy who blew up a lawnmower and cut his leg off. That's why they don't worry about it too much. Quiet Name Out Loud says, flamethrowers tend to blow up in combat. Well, some of them do, but a lot of them didn't. A lot of guys were fricasseeing people in the Pacific. I Take It Good says, before Prohibition, you could dynamite hardware stores. Up until like the 60s and probably like mid 70s, or up until the late 60s, you could dynamite hardware stores, especially out in rural areas. Not uncommon at all. When I was a kid, somebody's grandpa died and they had like dynamite he bought from the hardware store in town, like 1972. He still had the receipt in the box. Like, he still had access to dynamite. So it wasn't just Prohibition. It was a long time you could do that. All right, so we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going here. April Imholt's statements are inadmissible as to the defendant. Now, I will point out, though, guys, Coolidge v. New Hampshire and Horton v. California are actually very important cases in Fourth Amendment and search and seizure case law and history. They have been heavily modified and built upon since then with other cases after that, but they are some of like kind of the basics if you want to go back to the start. So people might say, oh, don't, they're citing a case from 71 or a case from 1990. That's actually, that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So I just want to make sure it's clear so you guys understand that, because people might claim that's a problem here, and I don't think that's an issue. So, but April's statements are inadmissible. Once again, this is like, guys, this is a free thing here. When you're typing, you can go into Word and you can do a thing called remove widows and orphans. Widows and orphans are when you end up with like a line or two of a paragraph on one page or another page, and the rest of it's there. You can make it so they're forced to go together. But this here, like your fucking heading is just hanging out in the thin air. Come on. Fucking amateur hour. Goddamn amateur hour. This is fucking pathetic. Fucking check your spacing. Now, April's statements made to Detective Pomplin are inadmissible as they are testimonial and were made after Imholt was given a Miranda warning and had invoked her right to remain silent and her right to have a lawyer present at questioning. Now, guys, remember, with Miranda, you have two parts. Miranda has two parts. Part one, you have to be in custody. And then part two is you have to be in interrogation. You have to be being interrogated about something relevant. The cop says, do you want to go to the bathroom? That doesn't count. The cop says, well, where did the drugs come from? Okay, now Miranda is activated. And she has to be read her Miranda rights. So she was Mirandized. Now, the issue is that statement, this is actually important. Statements are non-testimonial and made in the course of police interrogation under circumstances objectively indicating the primary purpose of the interrogation is to enable police assistance to meet an ongoing emergency. So, if there's a big example, it's New York v. Quarles. The guy had been on the run from the cops and ditched a gun in a shopping mall or in a supermarket. And they wanted to find the gun and make sure nobody was going to get hurt with it. And they're like, where's the gun? Where's the gun? Where's the gun? Guy was under arrest and they're asking questions about it. He's like, it's over there. Supreme Court said that was okay because it was an ongoing emergency. They are testimonial when the circumstances objectively indicate there is no such ongoing emergency, and the primary purpose is to establish or prove past events relevant to the prosecution and investigation. Then statements to police made in response to questioning for the purpose of establishing proving past events for the prosecution investigation, and not to enable assistance, are testimonial. And that's under Crawford, Davis, and Warsame. Now, there's Davis v. Washington. There's Crawford. Crawford's one of the biggest ones as far as confrontation issues and statements. So here's where we get to the point. And on the day of the actual raid, exterior to Nick's home, April was Mirandized by one of the deputies, Deputy Brandis. When asked if she'd like to say anything, April told the deputy, I would like to remain silent till my lawyer is present. So unlike Nick, April's actually fucking intelligent. She asserted her right to remain silent. Good job, April. Deputy Brandis then ceased any attempt to question April further, as he should. Approximately 4 minutes later, Deputy Brandis headed towards the house to retrieve a pair of shoes for April. Deputy Bauman took control of April. Deputy Brandis headed back towards Nick's house when he about-faced and told Deputy Pomplin, and that's Detective Pomplin, and Deputy Bowman that I did Miranda and asked for a lawyer. Despite this affirmative notice that April Imholt had invoked her Miranda rights, Deputy Pomplin conducted a custodial interrogation of her to elicit incriminatory statements by telling her side of the story. And I'm sure she fucking sunk Nick's ass with those statements. Also, hold on real quick, chat. All right. So, yeah. Yeah, April must have spilled some fucking tea. All kinds of fucking tea. Now, this is the interesting part. I'm assuming this is Nick's attorney bringing this up because I doubt Nick is smart enough to bring this up. Nick cannot ask to have April's statements be deemed inadmissible in her case. And that's correct. Nick cannot assert her right to Miranda. and is not asking the court for that purpose. Literally, he can't do that. Rather, he's asking the court to declare her statements made to law enforcement following her invocation to be inadmissible in this case. And that includes any video or audio recordings, as well as any notes made or reports drafted by law enforcement, unless April testifies at trial and is subject to confrontation. And that's important. And that's important. Because Nick has the right to confront his accusers. And right now, April is technically a co-defendant at the end of the day. And, if she ends up pleading the fifth, well, Nick has lost his right to confront her. So they talk about all this, and then they go on admitting April's statements and evidence at trial absent her testimony will violate the defendant's right to confrontation. Okay. And they said a case 50. Notice they don't really talk about anything else here, case law prohibiting it, or they don't go into discussion. That's a weird thing. This one is like where you would have to do a lot, I think, of heavy lifting and actual discussion of the facts and the relevant case law. And they're just like, yeah, fuck it, we'll throw in a footnote. And the footnote is State v. Sutter. But that's all they do? I mean, look how fucking long this is. This issue about some sort of confrontation clause problem under the Sixth Amendment. Because remember, guys, this is not Miranda or the Fourth Amendment. This is a confrontation issue. So now we're like Miranda issues that now implicate the Sixth Amendment. We're getting into some technical discussion here. It's not super technical or very esoteric. But you don't even fucking talk about it? That's it? That's it? Come on. Now, I will point out, I did look up State v. Sutter, and it's interesting. So, it becomes an issue about what you can do. So the issues there in Crawford, they point out that, and we're going to talk about this real quick because I went and looked this up because I do think it's important. 765. Okay, State v. Sutter in Minnesota Supreme Court. So this is the highest court in the land in Minnesota. And we don't really need to get through. If you guys want to read the preamble and whatever happened, I don't really care about that. They talk about Crawford v. Washington. This is a big case. It's a big case in 2004. Covers a lot of different topics. And there's 3 prerequisites to a successful confrontation clause claim. And there's 3 of them. The statement in question was testimonial. The statement was admitted for the truth of the matter asserted. And the defendant was unable to cross-examine the declarant. And April would be the declarant, not the officer. And the threshold question is, are the issue testimonial? So you have to get to it and they figure it out. And they first turn the question about, they go through some decisions. At first, it exempted all co-conspirator statements from way back in the day from a Crawford analysis. And this was a case from 2012. Okay, well, they realized that that's not actually correct anymore. They realized we're not going to do that. They don't think that's effective anymore. Now, they go through the history of what happened here. They talk about Ohio v. Roberts, which is actually an interesting case if you ever get the chance to read it. They talk about Briss involving the admission at trial of a recorded statement of a non-testifying co-conspirator made unwittingly to a government informant, some guy in a jailhouse. And they said an unwitting statement to an informant doesn't violate the confrontation clause. Okay. And there's also Bourget v. United States. That's also another interesting case. If you guys go through criminal procedure class, you would learn all these names. It's actually really interesting. It's really very interesting what they get to. But here's where they point out the issues. The fact that it's made to a cop doesn't end the inquiry about whether or not it's testimonial. The court should determine the primary purpose of the interrogation by objectively evaluating the statements and actions of the parties to the encounter in light of the circumstances in which the interrogation occurs. So we would have to know exactly what was said. And right now we don't. And that's why, I said before, I think this was Nick's writing for a bit. I don't know if Nick really could write that, because part of what you have to do is say which statements, what parts of these statements. Is it saying everything April said? Did April say something voluntarily? What exactly is it that April said? We don't know. We don't know. And guys, an unwitting statement just means you're not realizing who you're talking to. But we don't know anything because none of the statements are listed here. And you'd say like 15 minutes into the body cam, April says blah, 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 blah. But that makes me think Nick wrote this because he's terrified. Nick is terrified to have anything come out we could read. Nick thinks he can silo these body cam videos by never referring to them ever again. Am I going to cover the Chris Chan arrest footage? Yes, but not tonight. Not tonight. Probably tomorrow. Was April singing like a canary? I don't know. Maybe April just said a handful of things that blew him up. So I just don't know. It just... It just does not... I don't see... I just don't see what happens. Now, do I think Nick could probably get all of April's statements suppressed? I think so. By reading all of Sutter, there might be argument there, but I don't know what's happened in the 3 years since Sutter has been around. But just a basic reading of it, he might have something there. But I don't know, because we don't know what statements are being suppressed. And that's kind of a problem, because the court's going to be like, well, what the fuck are we talking about? Oh, he's running scared. He's not even running scared, but he's trying to do everything he can to win and save his ass. But I think Nick is also terrified to write in here, because what you should do is say, here are the statements she made that should be suppressed. Because by putting them down, you're not agreeing to them. And by putting them down, you're allowing the court to know what you're looking at, what you're trying to suppress. It also gives the state the opportunity to say, okay, which things is he trying to suppress? And they're not listed. This is really fucking sloppy. Very, very sloppy. It's almost like somebody doesn't know what they're doing. So, and then we get the conclusion. Once again, there is no fucking, come on, fucking do headings. The applicant misled the court in seeking a warrant. Had the applicant been truthful and relayed accurate information, the warrant would not have issued. I don't know. That was a very truthful warrant. For the foregoing reasons, the court should suppress all evidence collected and derived from the awful search of Caesar's defendant's home. Hold the warrant was not supported by probable cause. The defendant's arrest was unlawful, and to suppress any statements made by the defendant subsequent to his arrest, and any statements made by April Imholt subsequent to Miranda violation and invocation, and subsequently dismiss counts 1, 2, and 3. That is fucking awful. This is awful. Ugh. Ugh. Come on, buddy. Jesus, don't make it look like you just stole his fucking money. Make it look like you did the work. Gotta organize this shit. Props to Kayla for not talking. Yes, I give Kayla. Kayla gets all the props in the world, man. She kept it 10 toes down the whole time, and she hasn't talked to anybody as far as we know. Good for her. But now she's finally got a lawyer. Good for her, because now she can take care of herself. Cato Sierra is saying, is representing another lawyer usually annoying? Doctors make the worst patients. Lawyers make the worst clients. I've only had to represent another attorney once, and it was kind of a pain in the ass. And if he's out there, you know who you are. And he'll admit he's a bit of a pain in the ass. Nick is flailing. Oh, he is. He is. He is. And remember, Barnes charged Noel $5,000 for a single appearance. I know that when Noel said he charged $5,000, I'm like, dude, I would have done that for a lot fucking less. So, yeah. This is just, guys, this is just garbage. I don't know what else to tell you. I was waiting for something good here. This wasn't. This is, somebody saying legal mindset. Well, there's no legal mindset apparent on whoever wrote this paper, wrote this motion. I should use the theme A10 Warthog. Well, that's a fun person to have in chat. Birding his way along. You should use the meme of him looking up with his hands on his head for the thumbnails of his Nick videos. Yeah. Kayla did tell her kids this is the consequences of her actions in the courthouse, allegedly. Well, remember, Nick said he walked up to Alicia Sweep and said, "You lie!" And I'm sure he didn't fucking do that. I'm sure he thought that in his head. I don't know what this guy's thing is about confronting women like that, but you lied. And I'm sure him saying it while he reeks of alcohol and he's got the fucking cocaine jitters would have looked really good in court. But that didn't happen. That didn't happen, chat, because according to Nick, the whole bus clapped after that. But then he says she lied, and it's like, oh well, she probably did say it, but I don't know the context of it. It's like fucking backpedaling as hard as he can. Backpedaling. That's all Nick can do is backpedal now. Oh, wait. You just hear the pedals going backwards as fast as they can go. Oh. Ethan Ralph wants the link. Yeah, I'm not good. Was the net supposedly an elevator? No, the judge was that was when he got cucked by a judge in court and he didn't have the balls to stand up and demand her to be recused and suspend sentencing so his client didn't get fucked in the ass and sent to prison. No, Nick stood there and got cucked. He took it like a cuck, let his client get sent to prison unfairly, and then confronted the judge in the elevator, allegedly. And I'm sure, I'm like most of these women getting confronted by Nick, I'm sure would punch him in the throat. But I don't, like I said, I don't fucking see that happening. So. A10 says, don't listen to this prude, Nick. Taking a trial and win big. Yes. Oh. Carolina Frog. No, this is not Nick trying to represent himself. This is Nick trying to save money. And this is not where you should be saving money. Let your attorney do his fucking job. So also, guys, if there are any riots going on this week on the DNC, we will be doing Riot Watch. So hopefully we got some riot streams and we can like reenact the 2020 fun. How fast after this motion is denied does he take a plea? I don't know. I really don't know, but remember, Nick kept on saying, if you listen to the government, you're a bitch. And if you do what the government says, you're literally tucking your nuts up in your asshole. So Nick ain't ever going to do it. Nick ain't no bitch. You ain't no bitch, Nick. I know you're going to fight. You're going to go all the way. Take it all the way, chat. Nick will never bend the knee to the government. He would never admit the government's right. I mean, after all, he says it's all a conspiracy. All these people are out to get him. So why would you give in to those people? Take him down. Win. Win. Oh, okay. It's listed as a null shower court of the courts. Pretty much, and they're going to ignore it too. The prosecutor's going to go, I'm going to cite the case of Lamau v. Bruh. And that's going to be it. That's going to be it. Let's see here. Where else, you guys? All right. So, guys, we got a bunch of things to catch up on here, so we're going to get to these. But that's it. Yeah, I am not fucking impressed by this. This is not impressive at all. I mean, hold on here. Let's give the benefit of the doubt his attorney actually wrote this. You guys have had this for how fucking long? And this is your banger? This is your fucking This is you guys dragging your dick across the face. Let me see here. June 13th. So 2 months. It still blows my mind that Nick fucked around for like almost 2 whole weeks, almost 3 whole weeks. Fucking around not getting an attorney. Still makes no sense to me. Oh, Smoke and Scan is a fun car chase protest channel based in California. Okay, we'll look for it. Chaotic saying Sean's potentially criminal. Nick is an actual criminal. Oh. Yeah, guys, likes are low. Apparently, give me 400 likes. Let's fuck with the algorithm. And then Nick will have to know it's everywhere. Yes, Portland Andy's also a good one as well. It's hard to find a lawyer that takes Baldoz's payment. Golden Goose says, well, Sean, maybe they didn't want a malpractice factory. That's the other thing, Nick. If you think those lawyers are doing that and they're violating their duties and their ethics rules, fucking report them. You should be screaming their names from the fucking mountaintops. You have a mountaintop. If those attorneys are doing wrong and they're acting wrongly, fucking call them out and fucking report them to your disciplinary council for fucking not properly representing people. Fucking do it. If you won't, tells me all we need to know. You're full of shit. Full of fucking shit. Otherwise, call them all out, Nick. Fucking name names. Let's go, baby. Said your case is pretty much over. Like I said, buddy, take that book. Open it up. It's story time. Let's go. Yeah, and calling him out in the elevator after it's over doesn't count, Nick. I want you to tell us who these people are. Anyways, let's get some of this information. You guys in here. Sir Malhouse, for 19 months, is suffering from my myopic poverty right now. Rip. Well, thank you. And thank you for being a member for 19 months. I appreciate that. Appreciate you sticking around. Thanks. I think you said you're going to England, dude, for like a master's thing. Good luck. Be careful. Don't get acid attacked. Detail says, we lost the case again, Kayla. Derper says, what is the purpose of an omnibus hearing? Is it like pre-trial motions or something? Yes. That's how they do it in Minnesota. It's also weird in Minnesota. There's no formal like indictment process. So yeah, you're skipping the preliminary hearings, all those other things. You're going straight to motions to suppress, motions in limine. You're addressing all this stuff at an omnibus hearing. That's what omnibus means. It's a bunch of stuff together. You'll hear in Congress they'll pass like an omnibus bill, and that's what that means. But yes, good question. Stephen Cooper has been a member for 8 months, says, whoever wrote this needs practice. Yeah. LCW Archives is a new member. Well, thank you. Thank you for the support. Bass says, Nick should move to suppress the children's coke use. Yes. Scarebrow says, fat jokes are the only things Nick has. Learn from Juju the Cow, a.k.a. Dax Herrera, a.k.a. Dick Masterson. Yes. That's all he's got. I'm fat. Okay, great. You're still wrong. Like, I'm fat and you're wrong. Like, oh, well. Scarebrow says, could the Barnes Walker see a trust fund kid with too much money and just signing his name to Nick's arguments? No, because I would sit there and make my own fucking arguments. Like, why that's dangerous to do. I would have been embarrassed to put my name to this shit if Nick wrote it. Like, there's no way in hell I'm not like, no, my client can give me information. I'll take a look at it, but I ain't fucking signing my name to shit. That's a dangerous, dangerous game. And even if you don't lose, the judge might be like, "Oh my god, are you fucking a retard?" Aaron Albanese. Nice to see you, Aaron. Thank you for being here. Saying, is there a reason he's a non-practicing attorney? What a nightmare client. We've had uncontrollable clients before, but nothing like him. Oh, well, sounds like a fellow attorney. Hello. Yes, he oh my god, I can only imagine. He every time you talk to him, I guarantee you Nick thinks he's gonna win, and we're gonna win, and here's how we're gonna do it. And you're like, not like that, probably, boss. Also, Nick's like, my attorney at the Children's Services hearing didn't know what the rule of completeness was. It didn't know nothing. I'm like, okay, Nick, is that she didn't know that, or you didn't know what the fuck you were doing? Because, as you learn, the rules of evidence are lax in certain types of hearings. So, once again, remember, everybody's retarded but Nick. Yeah. Super Wiener says, evidence tampering in my Baldo pit. Scarecrow says, the video only shows me driving away with the money. It never showed me robbing with the bank. I kept that real for TikTok. Yes. Skeeve Man for £5 sterling. But not the King sterling. I remember. Saying the mental image of Nick Goat seeing himself is going to haunt my dreams. Forgive me if I don't thank you for that. That's okay. I'm sorry. Scarecrow says Nick parallels Sargon during his fight with Medicare. Yes, except Sargon, since then, bounced back and is working and improving himself and doing all the things like Nick could have done. And, Sargon isn't abusing coke and ruining his family. Muzzy Skeleton for $20. Thank you. It's saying screams break the silence. Waking from the dead of the night, coping and seething, he's returned to his plight. Then when he's found who he's looking for, listening on, you'll hear him shout at the farms. Ah! Oh, I know I did that, dude. I messed the timing up on that. Oh. And then Kairozu Desoya is saying based. Hopefully you're talking about something I said, not something Nick said. But thank you, I think. Sir Ubisan is saying, remember, the true culprit to blame is Eric July. Because reasons and excuses to escape accountability. Yes. Eric July did this, chat. Eric July's behind it all. Let's go. Brandon says, give us Clyde or we'll give you a daily Baldo in the P.O. box. All right, hold on. Clyde. Here, bud. Hey, come here. Come on. Hey. Come here. Come on. Hey. Up here, dude. Come on. There you go. There you go. Hi, buddy. I leaned out too far. The headphones pop out of the computer. Hi. We'll answer a couple more like this. But there you go, Brandon. He does not want to hang out. He wants to go see 2.0. I think she gave him some treats. I think you got a hemp treat. Do you want another weed treat, buddy? One day we'll give you Coke treats. Unforced Ego for $20. Thank you. Saying, Sean, it seems like April spilled her guts about everything, probably including the cover on the body cam. Do you think that's why he's trying so hard to hide it versus being ashamed of his dirty house? Oh, I think Nick is completely fucking embarrassed by the entire thing. He doesn't want to look like a fucking idiot. He doesn't want to look like a retard. He also doesn't want us to see the fact his house probably looked like, as I said before, a fucking Palestinian refugee camp. I bet there were like tunnels through the trash and clothes and everything just running around. It's a good thing the Israelis might have bombed his house thinking it was part of the Palestinian camp. And it's a good thing he doesn't have Somali neighbors. It'd have been like they'd have walked in and sniffed it and they'd be like, it smelled like home. Ha 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 ha. Yes, I remember this. It was like fighting with Muhammad Farah Adid. You just see the Black Hawk Down soundtrack playing in the background as the cops walk in. Oh my god, that'll be funny if we do get the body cam and it really is that bad. You just put the Black Hawk Down stuff in the background. Oh, that'll be great. Fire PA 498 says, "What kind of conflict of interest do we get into with this? Since Nick was claiming to be April's attorney at the start of all of this. Well, not anymore now, but at the time it was a massive issue. But April's now on her own, so not anymore. It's not a problem." Linda Richards says, "I'm watching the convention, but just wanted to say my cold frozen heart began to thaw when I saw how much you love your dog." Well, Clyde is a very good boy. I've said it before, he's a very good doggo. And we're very lucky to have him. We're very lucky to find him. And I'm so glad we got to find him and so glad in the situation that it sucks he had to go through what he went through because, when I think about what he probably went through before he got to us, it sounds utterly fucking heartbreaking. It really does. I mean, it sounds awful. It sounds really, really awful. It makes you sad. It makes you really sad. But he's here. And this is the road it took to get to where he's, he can go run around outside and everything's all good like Robin Hood. It's worth it. And it's kind of like that guy on YouTube who does the sitting with dogs things, Rocky Kanaka says, dogs are all about the present. They really don't live in the past. They're mainly in the present, and they want to be in the present. And it doesn't take much to help them live in the present and enjoy the present. So, yeah, it's we don't deserve these guys. But I am so glad, 3 million years ago, some wolf got really curious about what those guys were doing around the fire, and some caveman was standing around him like, "You want this?" and offered him a piece of meat. I'm so glad that happened. Of all the things, building the wheel, fire, some caveman saying, "Hey, yo, wolf, you want some food?" That's a pretty cool thing. Pretty cool thing. So, Bass says the A-10 is a beautiful airplane. It is a beautiful airplane as long as you understand, yes, it's really cool. It looks neat, but it's worthless nowadays. Short of shooting guys on mopeds, it's not really helpful. The A-10 is no longer a tank killer. If you wanted to go hunt tanks in Czechoslovakia or southern, in Thuringia in 1978, the A-10 is your plane. But not anymore. Not anymore. Sleazy says, the way this is written almost seems like they are fighting evidence without saying what the evidence is. Now only Kiwi saying there is that evidence. Yeah, I totally think so. Because now he doesn't have to say what's there because then we've learned. And that's a fucking pathetic way to fight. Fucking win. You got to win, Nick. That's it. I mean, well, if you win, a lot of people are still going to think you're a piece of shit. So I don't know if it really changed anything. Fire PA 498 is saying, Nick's dad, "Are you winning, son?" Well, remember, though, his dad said he'd ask him, like, "Is there a reasonable... Son, why do you have a crack pipe here? What's your reasonable answer for that? I'm going to press you on that, son." And if Nick gave a reasonable answer, he'd go, "That makes sense for you to have a crack pipe here. I shall no longer press you." Remember, that's his dad. That's his dad's reaction to seeing drug paraphernalia. Base Shaman. By the way, glad you got your spear and helmet back. If you guys weren't aware, the actual Q Shaman got his spear and buffalo hat back from the feds. As a 40K fan since 1999, Nick's first paint stream was painting a space Smurf. The signs were there, Sean. Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with the Ultramarines. People hate them, but they're blue. That's the coolest part. They're blue. I like the color blue. And you're probably going to run away now. Epic Fantasy for $5 dues is saying, is Rekieta going to fight the felony charges, do you think, or cop a plea and lie about it? Well, he can't cop a plea and lie about it. We'll know that he pleads out. And we can get transcripts of those hearings. We could probably get the recordings of those hearings. We can get a lot of the stuff. It's just not going to be live, is the issue. So he can't lie about what he pleads out to. We'll always find out. And that's the thing in America. When people say they've pled to things, you can always find out what they've pled to. There's always a way to find out. Scarebro says, Nick is selling April's home. Yes. Kayla got her own lawyer, recently represented separately. Did April get promoted to primary in the cover? Sounds like it. Sounds like April took a demotion. I don't know. Don't know. Johan Naxo says, burning down the barns at the Baldo Farms. Burning down the barns at the Baldo Farms. Suffer Rekieta. It's clearly Eric July's fault. Yes. Tim Beatty says, bankruptcy or divorce court first. I don't know. I don't see anything to indicate divorce is happening, and I don't see anything to indicate that he's insolvent. He just doesn't have money to fuck. He doesn't have fuck around money. The family trust has money. It's just he doesn't have fuck around money. Quiet Name Out Loud says, Nick claims the CPS case was sealed. Yes, because he cried and asked to have it sealed. Remember, he's the reason why it got sealed. Could he try to seal the criminal case or at least the omnibus hearing? No. Those don't get sealed like that. We would have the access to the transcripts and access to things after the fact. He can't really seal a criminal proceeding too much. And if he does, then we just know he's fucked and it's all true. So the harder he fights, the more obvious it is. This is the joke's like, if you scream, it'll only make it harder for you. It's like, Nick, the harder you struggle, the worse it looks. Make it Mobas saying, is it Nick Rekieta? Is it Nick Sarah Rekieta Boone now? This isn't the arc I wanted, but this is the arc we needed. Peace and love, Sean. Well, thank you. Kaleidoscope says, how do we know Nick wrote most of that Fourth Amendment motion? Look at the non sequiturs and straw mans and the null DMs and the motion to suppress video. Same Baldo energy. Yeah, I'm trying, I could have, there's so much to pick apart and fucking mock in there, but yeah, it's just not good. It's all garbage. It's all fucking garbage. And then Fire PA says, I can't believe Monograph made Nick sell Dabunka. Yes. Oh. Nick would say the law sealed the CPS case. Yeah, I know, except we have proof his attorney filed the motion and the court saying you filed it the wrong way. So Nick obviously went back and did it again. So it's sad though, because Nick said we were getting he was getting swindled, but we don't have it. And Cringe Peddler says, do an Su-57 model. There are a bunch of planes I'd rather do than an Su-57. It looks very unimaginative. It's just a big F-22. I would rather do like an Su-34 or a Ka-52 model than an Su-57. There's a bunch of shit I'd rather do than an Su-57 model. Andrew's saying, fair, if my kids are involved, I'd seal that shit too, even if I were guilty. And that's fine, but you also want to run around screaming it's all a conspiracy. Sofa Ninja says Ralph said he was going to be at the courthouse Wednesday, but remember people are trying to serve him, so he said he lost his passport. Yeah, and that's the thing, guys. There are service processors, process servers. You can call, and I could be like, I have a rush job. They'll be like, fine, it's $250. They will haul ass out there to Wilmar, Minnesota, from like Minneapolis. Like, fax me the documents or email me the documents. They'll print them up and go, boop, served. Like, they'll fucking do it. Johan Naxos for $5 says, Nick's win-loss record is worse than Aaron's boxing record. Oof. Oof. Harbor Water says, "Would I do a frog foot? I do an SU-25. I just don't think the SU-57 looks cool. It kind of looks gay. But yeah, I do like a frog foot. I do an SU-35 flanker. I think the fullback is pretty cool looking though, especially when you can paint it in that like blue and blue tiger stripe pattern, like the blue and blue pattern. I think it looks pretty neat. So Jim's going to the omnibus deep undercover. He's in a wheelchair. I don't know how. Is he going to roll in as like a potted plant so nobody can see him? Oh. Would you do an SDF Macross Valkyrie model? I'd be interested in I do that. That seems like that one would be a lot of work, but sure. It's like Gunpla. I've never done Gunpla, but yeah, sure, I give it a shot. I know some Gunpla's like fucking crazy, but I also know some of it's pretty easy. But yeah, I get some of that stuff a shot. I mean, I get some models. I mean, there's a whole couple I got to work through, plus the two I'm currently working on. So if you guys send them to me, I'll work on them. I won't see here. SU-34 flanker. You're not even no. Now you're making me get all airplane autistic. No, that's the fullback. The flanker is the SU-35 and the SU-27. Come on. Come on, man. You got to do it right. Nice try. Nice try. Christine says, "Can you explain this to me like a retard because you're a retard?" You're not a retard. You're not a retard. Nick is a retard. And he made a retarded filing. Basically, the police didn't lie. April's statements might get suppressed. And the gun charges are still legit. That's basically that's basically what I can tell you right now in a nutshell. Jim will sit on Jade's shoulders under a huge overcoat. Oh. Well, Anime Sucks Cope and Sneed be present as a Kiwi Farms representative. No, it'd be funny if there were like the four jurors, because we have Alicia Sweep, we have Jim Felt, we have Trooper Moonson. It'd be funny if there was somebody with a name like Amity, the last name Amity, a guy named Sooks, a guy named Cope, and then a guy named Sneed as potential jurors. Juror Sneed. Let me see here. Do you collect mini plus from Super Sentai Power Rangers? No, I don't. I don't collect any of that stuff. Nope, sorry. Do I go to the air shows in Dayton? No, but I was for about a year and a half. I worked just outside of Dayton. I went to the Air Force Museum all the time. It was a lot of fun. I'm stimming under the table right now. Do an AWAC so I can spy on Nick. Mega Bobass says, "Shit, fuck Aaron's boxing record against Nick. Nick's record's worse than Tonka. Oh no. Oh no. No. That's no good. Oh. Medicare said no to the DSP interview. That should be an indicator his health's looking bad. Yeah, he says he's got a broken foot and a bunch of problems right now. He said the DSP interview is his goal and the planned final stream ever. Yeah. Hella says, "I have no fucking idea what I'm on about." Well, that's how that goes. That's how that goes. Mobius one shot ton of Pokey. Yes. Yes. Ghost Eye. Ghost Eye. Brooks saying, is the omnibus going to be streamed live? No, it's not. It's not going to be streamed live. We won't know about it till after it happens. And then we're going to have to worry about trying to get all transcripts and stuff. Lawler Scooty says Nick is so retarded other people feel third-hand retardation. Yeah. Trust me. I felt like an idiot reading through all that. I'm like, I had to sit there like, guys, I took fucking notes on this shit. And I'm like, did I miss something? And a couple of those cases I went through and read to make sure I wasn't missing a concept. Like I fired up my fucking, search engine from I fired up my case search that I get through the Bar Association. And I'm like, what the fuck? And I'm like, nope, I'm not retarded. I mean, is he going to get all the counts tossed? I mean, look, there's always, I can't tell you never. Never and always are dangerous because you can't guarantee it. There's like a 1 or 2% chance he fucking beats him. It's always a chance. But no, I don't fucking see it happening. Chris Topher Toke says the gun charge is a 2-year minimum. No, it's only a year for the gun stuff. The gun stuff's a misdemeanor. That's not the problem. The problem is the 25 grams of coke, and that even if they reduce it, it's still a serious multi-year felony charge. The cocaine's the big danger. Tim is saying, I just want Nick to see Nick in prison. Well, that's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. A guy in his room says John from Kiwi Farm should show up. That would be great. Evan says, would you build an F-111 model? Yeah, I would. I'd do it in the European one paint scheme with the gray mixed in with the camo. It'd be pretty cool. Pipu Paladin says, Nick had the furry porn artist draw him as a soul drinker. That was the real foreshadowing. Nick is a soul drinker. Okay. Yes, Bill Sneed. Yes. What's your name, sir? Oh, yes, my name's Bill Sneed. I'm juror number 12. Oh. Examen says, would I build a model of the SU-75 Checkmate? I mean, yeah, but but the concepts of it don't they look like models still. So once they actually have a flying model, a flying version of it, yeah, I'd probably build it. But right now it looks like an F-35 basically. Or like one of the F-35 competitors in development. El Augusto says, are you from a military family? No. Like my grandfather was in the military and my uncle was in the military, but no, other than that, no. Nick Rekieta, the David Otunga of lawyering. Oof. Some of you guys are tough. Some of you guys are tough out there. Scarebro says, I meant Kayla is no longer the primary. April is. No, I agree. April could easily be the primary at this point. I very much agree. It could easily happen. Sky Eye, not Ghost Eye. No, listen here. Actually, sometimes in some of the games, the AWACS is called Ghost Eye. It's not called Sky Eye every time. Mr. Actually, Bernie got shown. Here, you know what? We'll fucking go on here. It's in the name of the AWACS in Ace Combat. In Ace Combat Infinity, he's called Sky Eye. But he's known by other things. He's also known as Ghost Eye. And some of them. And it's in the which one is it? He's in which one is it? Ace Combat 6, Fires of Liberation. Where the Amarians fight the Estovakians. Did you just go 200 subs? I don't know if I did. That's awesome. CG says, you read a comment I made about, as my son would say, he got oofed. Well, I just replayed that from my stream and he lost his mind. Well, there, you can hear it again. Evan says, what's your favorite Century Series fighter bomber? The F-105. If you guys have never watched Amazon, there's a great documentary called Thud Pilots. It's really fucking cool. But the Thud is the coolest. But all those planes fall short of the glory of the F-4 Phantom. Topher saying, is this not a RICO charge with the drugs and guns and scale shows intent to sell in many states? No. Because, personal drug users have scales. They make sure they're getting the right amount, and you make sure how much you're using. It's a way to get, when you become a drug addict, you become very good at measuring things. So no, there's no indication it was selling. They found nothing else to indicate distribution. Having scales isn't enough. They don't have a pile of baggies. They aren't sitting there making little bindles. There's no word on the street Nick's selling coke and moving a big amount of weight. So no, he's just a drug addict who's got guns. And Super Wiener says, I hope you like the Phantom. Of course. Who doesn't like the Phantom? That was my first model airplane ever built back when Revell did those snap together kits for like Square One. Those were so cool. Tuska says, how about an Albatross, DVA, or any World War I airplanes in general? I think they're pretty cool. Yeah, I haven't really done one of those in a long time. And then Versace Jesus says, if Ethan Ralph shows up in Cuyahoga County, I mean, why is he coming to Cuyahoga County, Ohio? But can they arrest him on behalf of the states that have warrants for his arrest? Generally, no, because those states aren't going to come pick him up. So unless they're felony warrants, if they're misdemeanor warrants and stuff, you're kind of limited to they'll say, hey, you got warrants, go take care of them. But otherwise, yeah, I don't think he's got felony capious nationwide warrants right now. If he does, they could. Let's see what else he has got here. Oh. Roscoe says, I should send you an A6 model. It's been a long time since I did. I mean, I had probably now almost a 20-year gap since I've really done model building. I did an A6 model in high school, and it was a lot of fun. I did not get Actually, I actually got it right. Hee. It's Sky Eye and Ace Combat 04. Yeah, well, there's a lot of Ace Combats, though. Ace Combat 7 had 3 different AWACS. Ooh. Yes, I know Ace Combat games better than Nick knows the law. Yes. And I will say, when the Eslovakian flankers and their red and black paint pattern is pretty dope. So. I just vindicated you, Lamel. No, I did not. No, I did not, King. I did not vindicate you. And technically, the F4 is a Century fighter. Not really in the same sense. I mean, yes, it was in the heritage, but it was the next generation, the next progression in a highly technological and, heavily capable aircraft. GG Evans says, what about the A4? I do an A4 also. I do an A4. I'm gonna make a Brook style box for model boxes soon. Well, yeah. Yes, it's the Yellow Squadron. I still haven't picked up on getting the AWACS wrong on Ace Combat 4 and Mobius 1. I'm not worried about Mobius 1. The Garuda team's the important team. Garuda team's the best team. So, all right, guys, I think we're about wrapped up here. Pray times 12 or pray X12. Are we saying pray for the X12? So, can you have Aaron on the show? One day we might. One day we might. He might be able to, if he could tell us more about what happens. Say, I only want models to huff glue. I'm like, I don't need that. I could turn around and huff glue without the models. Bushmaster says the Polish don't like Stukas. Well, a lot of people don't like Stukas. More like Garuda. Yeah. How about an MI-17? I'd probably build one of those too if you send it to me. I'd build all kinds of shit. If you send it to me, I'll probably build it. If you send it to me, guys, I'll build it. So that's all you need to worry about. All right, chat. That is, I think, everything. I think we'll actually wait. Apparently, I get the feeling, based on what someone told me, Sleazy, I think you may have did some memberships at one point, but it's not showing up on here. So I think you get to like 5 subs. Thank you for doing that, but I don't see it. So my bad. Is there lolcows on tonight? I mean, it's 10 o'clock. I'll probably go watch it myself, but yeah. Me and Alyssa would be superior guests to the Cloud Goblin Aaron. Well, not disagreeing with that. But who knows what? Aaron could provide us more information after the trial's over. Give us the full details. And Max Mora. Hello, Max. Hello. If you send it, he will build it. Yes. Whoa, 147 people are watching Kill Tony with. Oh, I didn't know Peterson was on that. Damn. Wow. Good for them. That's awesome. Holy shit, yeah. 144 watching. Jesus. Wow. That's no joke, chat. How long would Nick's trial last? A couple of days at most, like 2-3 days. So, yeah, guys, we're not going to do on locals. Bob Johnson says Dom DeLeese faked his death to become a lawyer in Ohio. Well, he didn't make the right decision. That didn't turn out well for him. Oh, hold on here. What is this? All right, guys. So, yeah, that's it. We are all set up. Like I said, guys, was not impressed with this. Aaron's asking for the link. Well, we're all done anyway. So I gave you your plug, Aaron. You got it. I wasn't impressed by this. He's probably going to lose, and he's probably going to either have to take the knee, or Nick's going to have to go all the way and crash and burn. It's going to be a suicide mission. If that happens, it will be fucking hilarious. And as I stated, if there's more dispositive motions, we'll cover them when the state responds, and I'm sure they're going to respond by just fucking nuking Nick on this. And we'll see how that goes. And Mr. Bass assaulted a guy with a weapon earlier today. He's being looked for by the police. Ooh. Really? Really? He is? Damn. I didn't hear about that. Well, I'm going to say I've been doing lawyer shit today, so I don't know if that's out there. Oh, let's see. All right. Mr. Bass, not Mr. Beast. So, guys, get me. This is my super chat. No, I said we got to this. No, I think I covered your super chat. Oh shit! No, I didn't see this. My bad. I used I used to work on a flight line that had F4s, an amazing plane, especially when I take off during twilight, afterburners for days. Yes. Yes, I'm not gonna lie, that's a reason why I don't buy DCS and buy the F4 package, because I would probably fucking never work ever again. I would probably quit doing this, because the F4 is like the best fucking thing out there. It's so cool. Brian Steele is supposed to be at the Georgia Supreme Court tomorrow. Ooh, that'll be sexy to watch. That'll be sexy to watch. Ooh, yeah, that's gonna be fun. Maybe we'll cover that tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, chat, I will let you know. We are covering Chris Chan's arrest footage. Because that is out now, we are going to take a look at it. I think it'll be good. So, thank you again for everybody that's here. I appreciate it, guys. And, until next time, just because you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. Although, Nick, we're pretty sure you did, and we're pretty sure you're guilty. I mean, just you put the evidence out there, man. Please get help. Please turn your shit around. Do what's good for your family. You need to, man. Please. That's really the big goal. Just do it, Nick. Come on, man. Come on. You can do it. You can do it. Just gotta saddle up. Saddle up. Anyways, good night, chat. Take care.
Weapons, blacksmithing, and models of planes, esoteric works, and even some trains. Much merriment had while drinking White Claws, tips on hunting, and even talking the law. Whatever you do, just don't talk to cops, even when they nab you on illegal stops. Just 'cause you did it doesn't mean you're guilty. But please talk to a local attorney. Was that the fat guy?